Today we are going to cover how to deploy a Kubernetes cluster and 3 applications in 60 minutes. We are going to use the AppZ platform to do that. It's a fully low-touch multi-cloud Kubernetes cluster where you can deploy applications using GitOps. The format of today's webinar will be, we're going to start by deploying an AppZ platform along with the Kubernetes cluster. We're going to kick off that, and then we're going to jump into while this cluster is getting built. It takes about 25 to 30 minutes. While this Kubernetes cluster is being created, we're going to talk about AppZ, and we're going to give you a quick introduction, and then we'll go ahead and deploy 2 applications onto that. Joining me today is Sanjeev. He heads our product engineering. Hello, Sanjeev. So you want to say something?
Yes. In fact, the only thing I would like to say is that the problem that we are solving is I'm a developer. As you saw, that there are 2 applications are listed, Tomcat and Node. And do I have to learn the cloud? Do I have to learn the Kubernetes to deploy it? That's the problem that we are solving. So let's get started. There is a lot to unpack, and let's look at cluster getting built.
All right. So we are going to kick off with the Kubernetes cluster creation. So I'm going to share screen from Anusha. She's also on the call or they're on the webinar. So let's share her screen now. Yeah, go ahead, Sanjeev. Let's walk us through. And so, and also, Anusha, you're on the audio also. If you want to, us to include you in it, just say something, and it'll be in the webinar. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead.
So let me explain that what is happening. So this is a brand new AWS account, and Anusha has it's a user account with the administrative privilege. With that, C is running. There's nothing in the account right now. The 2 things have been added. One is the domain. A domain has been created, appzclient.com, and a certificate, a public certificate has been created, which is available freely, which can be attached to a load balancer. Anusha, you keep on going ahead. I will be continue explaining that.
Yeah, sure.
And with this new domain and SSL certificate, a public certificate, we are going to build a platform. That platform will create this. We are using the cloud formation here. The cloud formation is, I would say, like the preferred way to create AWS infrastructure, because it persists the state and makes sure that the infrastructure gets created as well as managed as a single unit. Once we kick off this process, and I will just list out that what all will get built, and you will see those things kind of like getting built. It will create 3 EC2 instances, a security group, and EC2 role for the master instance to communicate back to the rest of the cluster. We also have a CloudWatch group, a couple of DNS entries, and the for AppZ dashboard and the registry. And it will be creating an ELB with the 2 target group, one for the master node, as you can see here, and another for the worker node, which to kind of like manage the ingress controller. So all these will get created while this cluster is getting built. If you do this manually, it will take you hours to put this together. Now, this is from the infrastructure perspective. As the cluster is getting built, you will see that once the AWS, as I listed out, all the infrastructure resources are ready, we will be putting the AppZ platform on top of that. What Rajit was sharing the screen, and that constitute a dashboard, a control plane, and the other, as you can see, our log collector, the vault, and all, as I will be explaining that later.
So Sanjeev, so basically from the 2 clicks or 3 clicks that Anusha did and entering all the information, in a brand new AWS account, you get this cluster, which is ready to accept webhooks from Git, and it will have a dashboard URL to the AppZ dashboard, and as we deploy applications, it will be able to create an app URL for every application. All that is done by just clicking that one, by filling that form and clicking that. Correct?
That's correct, Rajat. And again, going back to the basic the question which I raised in the beginning is that I am a Tomcat developer, I am a Node developer, I'm a Python developer. Why do I have to learn cloud? And the cloud is a complex thing. Like people who are learning, and I'm talking about the people as a personal level as well as the enterprise. Everybody is struggling to understand the cloud, and the main challenge is that every cloud is different. Now, as a developer, my language is Python. That's the best I code in. But do I need to learn another language, which is the cloud or another platform, to speak my language? We are trying to solve that problem, and the answer is no. With the AppZ platform, we are bringing the cloud to you, and it's not that you have to learn it. And I'll give a very simple example, Rajat, if that helps explain the analogy. Electricity. It's a Now who is generating electricity? It doesn't matter whether it is coming from the thermal source or the nuclear source or wind or like solar. It doesn't matter. I have several appliances to run, and will call them applications to run at my in my house, in my enterprise. And why cannot I plug and play my applications or appliance simply and consume the cloud?
Yeah, makes sense. So as a developer, I want to be productive. I don't want, because there are so many different cloud technologies out there. When I develop something, I want to make sure that it's everything that I develop is I can deploy to multiple cloud. Yeah, today I might be running only on one, but I want to be able to run it in another. So there is no point in spending time, a cloud by cloud, learning that, and then that's not getting me anything other than all I want to do is deploy the application. So we are more application centric, developer friendly. So you basically deploy it directly from your source to multiple cloud. Today we are showing AWS.
That's correct, Rajat. And the idea here is that what cloud will be chosen, and the developers developing the applications, and the enterprise, and they will be selecting the infrastructure team. They'll be selecting the cloud, managing it. The idea here is that the developers' code will get seamlessly deployed in any cloud that enterprise has chosen, and it should not affect that developer has to learn the cloud before they deploy it.
Okay.
And that's the
Yeah.
power you're bringing.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Yeah. So at this point, and as we said, we kicked off Anusha kicked off the deployment using CloudFormation. Now the cluster is getting created. So let's look at AppZ and let us give you an introduction to AppZ. So AppZ, I'll cover the first slide, and so next slide onwards, Sanjeev will cover it. So AppZ is a Kubernetes first modernization platform. So it is, as we said, it is a platform that is developer and application centric. So we kind of hide all the complexities of the cloud away. And as you will see in this webinar, we make it very simple without knowing Docker, without knowing the underlying cloud details. You can now hire a developer, or you can be a developer yourself, deploy it within minutes into all the cloud platforms using AppZ. And we support both legacy and cloud native. Today, we are going to show a couple of applications. One of them is Tomcat. The other one is Node. Moving on to the next slide. Go ahead, Sanjeev.
Yes, and the three challenges that we are solving here, we want developers to be more productive, and that is why they're bringing the agility. They don't have to learn the Docker and Kubernetes. All these, although they are great technologies, and I would say like they are emerging technologies, and but they don't have to learn it. They have to simply code, and their code will get deployed into a fully scalable as well as the resilient and the secure cluster. We are a very high proponent of the GitOps model. We want, and not only for the application deployment, we want all the infrastructure changes also happening through the GitOps. Why? Because it leaves an audit trail. It says that who did what, when, how, and also who approved it. We have a fully workflow engine baked in our product, and we have a traceability. So even if like the months down the line, if something happens and audit questions us, and so we can answer the question that how this got deployed, reduce the risk. And I see a question from Anil also about are you following the best practices around the security and all? And answer is yes, and that's also here in the second bullet point is that we are reducing the risk. The here is that the platform runs as a uh, fully secure environment with less and less or minimal privilege access. And what you call is the and and also we are providing, which we will be covering in the subsequent webinar, that the Docker image, what we call is the AppZ stacks. Those are the secure images on which the applications get layered, and we have a very good stack user practices with the Docker bench and all the vulnerability scanning to take the applications live. Of course, the cost is the big thing. And let me, if I ask simply, and this is on the personal experience also, that if the data centers, which is currently running, take any data center in a enterprise, and if they and some of the numbers that how much of the data center is utilized in terms of storage and in terms of the compute, the answer has been consistently 15 to 20%. There's a huge amount of wastage in terms of compute capability and the resources required, of course, the heat and the cooling and all those things required to manage the data center. The We have an answer to that also. Of course, the answer is in the marketplace to run the applications in the cluster, Kubernetes cluster, and we are leveraging that to reduce the cost, and as well as like the zero touch and low touch deployment. That also helps scale uh, that helps reduce the burden to manage the applications in the data center. So in effect, we are increasing agility, reducing the risk, and reducing the cost.
Awesome. And also we do that on multiple cloud on upstream Kubernetes. So, and it is fully managed. It's fully automatically updated, upgraded, things like that, right?
That's correct, Rajat. And what we are doing a demo today is for AWS, but we have AppZ Platform running on every cloud, be it Google, be it Linode, be it IBM, be it Azure or DigitalOcean, Google. We have AppZ Platform running on all the cloud. It is just that from the delivery perspective, we selected AWS as the first to go the marketplace. We have other cloud. Today itself, we are meeting with Linode and Oracle to discuss how to take our AppZ Platform onto their cloud.
Awesome. So now let's talk about the platform and the AppZ stacks. Let's kind of give an idea how this works behind the scenes, Sanjeev.
Yes. So as you can see on the left-hand side, there are two personas. One is the developers and operations, and all of them are using the GitHub to either bring the applications or make any change in the infrastructure or the configuration. In the middle, we have three bullets, which are the AppZ stacks, AppZ platform, and the dashboard, which is kind of like an end result and where like the control plane where everything can be like managed. And on the right, we have the Kubernetes cluster. That cluster is getting built right away by Anusha clicking a couple of the buttons. And on that cluster resides can any cloud, and we will have the AppZ platform sitting on top of that Kubernetes cluster and offer the true GitOps model. The the workflow would be that, as you can see, that for the Tomcat applications, that we will plug in a simple, what you call, the way I give the electricity example, there is a simple plug which you plug into your the socket, and your appliance gets the electricity to run. The same way, we will have a AppZ YAML that you will see. We will plug that into the developer's Git repo, and the GitOps, what you call is the webhook, is the switch. Switch on the button, make a change, and that change will get deployed on the cloud via the AppGS stacks. AppGS stacks are the curated images. So to run a Java application, which is the Tomcat, you need to have a operating system, you need to have Java, you need to have Tomcat uh, services up and running. So that containerized image comes out of the AppGS stacks on the top. Uh, Applications Git repo and the stacks get merged together in the AppZ platform and get pushed to the Kubernetes cluster, which has already been built. We will go through that demo as we make progress here. Rajit, would like to add something?
Yes. The idea is, it's I think it goes back to the point you made earlier. We are a low touch platform with almost no privileged access required. So you can control everything from GitHub, which is what developers and operations are already used to. And even if you're not used to, from an operation perspective, we can quickly learn. And you basically commit your source, commit the configuration, commit the manifest file, and that gets committed to Git. And everything behind the scenes happens automatically. Your application comes up and it stays alive. It is resilient. It has the replication, everything enabled when required. All that is happening behind the scenes while you have full visibility and audit traceability through the observability platform. That will be the AppZ dashboard. So, hey, Sanjeev, we have a question.
Sure.
So Pradeep is asking, what is the minimum requirement in terms of storage, memory, space for AppZ to run? Let's say in the demo today, I'm assuming we are running a minimum configuration. So what would be that?
That's a very good question, Pradeep. The minimum requirement, as you can see from the Kubernetes perspective, is a 3-node cluster. The first node is what you call is the master node, and the 2 worker nodes. So 3 EC2 instances. The storage, we start with our AMI that we have built has the 100 gigabyte, but that's the kind of for the developers. We have options to scale it to 200, 500, or terabyte. And memory, the requirement is 16 gigabyte, primarily for the master node, as we are running some heavy workload in the Cassandra and all. So I think that's complete the question.
And we have one more question. I think that we already kind of answered it. So this is from Anil. How will I know what is happening inside AppZ?
So I believe if this question is that during the installation, what we have done for the AWS Marketplace is that the installation part is completely visible through the Cloud Watch logs, which once we go to the screen, Anusha can show. And if it is from the runtime observability, once the application is up and running, where do I go to see that AppZ? It's our dashboard. And you will quickly see that once the dashboard is up, you don't have to log into the server to understand your applications. Your all applications log will be visible. All infrastructure logs will be visible. I hope I have answered the question.
Awesome. So now we have another question from Nagesh. What is the best advantage of AppZ compared to the competition?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and we are asked these questions often. That are we a CI/CD pipeline? And our simple answer is that we are much more than CI/CD pipeline. And then people ask that everybody has like automation, and our simple answer is that most of the automation that we see in the marketplace are infrastructure centric, but we are much more application centric. We are much more developer friendly, and we are bringing cloud and the capability to the developers directly rather than via a kind of like the infrastructure team doing partly not able to services the cloud services properly. Cloud has done a great job in terms of automating the infrastructure. We are bringing cloud closer to the developers' use.
Awesome. And that's a good point. So we are more application centric.
That's correct.
And our competition, they did a good job in getting the infrastructure automated, but developers still need more automation. And right now, they have to go and find all these tools, download a lot of stuff that might or might not have vulnerabilities. They have to take care of all these things before they can actually deploy their application. So we are giving them out of the box, application centric. All the stacks are already clean, certified. We scan for CIS benchmarks, vulnerabilities before we publish, and we keep it updated so developers' life will be easier. We have another question from Pratish. What are the deployment strategies available in AppZ?
That's very good questions, and you will see that while we will be deploying our Tomcat and Node applications. Again, like some of these strategies are, it's not that we have built it. Those strategies are available right out of the box in the Kubernetes platform. We are simply making it available in a declarative way in the AppGML. So the rolling deployment, the blue-green deployment, all sort of deployment, stateful, stateless, whatever type of deployment do we want, we make it available to the developers via an easy way to integrate with.
Awesome. So we have several questions coming up. Here is a question from Sridevi. Is it possible to maintain ABZ and K as master in different servers? So I can take that question. So the answer is yes. We want to reduce the footprint to begin with. So AppZ can run on a different master than the K8s cluster, but in smaller footprint installations, we tend to keep it in the same. And that's what we are doing today. In our demo today, it's a single master for both K8s and AppZ, but in the production large deployments, we encourage our customers to separate them.
That's a very good question.
And moving on to the next question, Sharath has a question: how much time will it take to bring up AppZ on premises production environment?
So the answer would be that it will take the same time as you see will take now. So you see that half an hour, 35 minutes, a production grade AppZ platform will be up and running. That's our promise, and we will continue this across the multiple cloud.
Thank you. So next question is from Ansi. If some errors are encountered on the application side, is it possible to fix the problem with the help of AppZ Dev?
I would say yes. And there are many ways you can see that. You can, of course, roll back the application so that your an AppZ gives you ability to roll back applications. And AppZ also provides you the entire logging, so you can see the runtime log in the log and figure out that where the issue is. So of course you roll back the application so that your user is not impacted, fix it, and follow another GitOps model to deploy the fixed version of the code.
Good. Next question is, I think it's interesting. So secret management. So AppZ, how does it help for an application store secrets?
So that's a big challenge, and in fact, there was a survey that says that the GitHub is becoming a repository of all the secrets, AWS Secret ID, like all these places, because people forget that they keep on checking on the secrets for users. What used to sit on the what you call is the developer's laptop, and then all now are getting into the GitHub, and it's a big concern. What AppZ provides out of the box is a HashiCorp Vault implementation, and it is available as part of the AppZ platform, and it is not only recommended. We have a very easy way to put the secret in the vault, and applications can use the secret at runtime. All the images, what we call is the AppZ stacks, are vault integrated, and developers have to simply put the secrets in the vault and consume it.
Awesome. Now, Sridevi has another question. Is there any feature available for disaster recovery in AppZ?
Yeah, that's a great question. What we are running, and again, disaster recovery has many dimensions. I will start with the application itself is to the crashing. So all our applications, the way we run the application using the supervisor and with the best practices, so that the application itself is running in the self-healing mode. So that's from the application perspective. From the infrastructure perspective, if you are we offer the deployment of the multiple replicas of the application. That way, if one goes down, of course the Kubernetes will bring it up, but the other can service the user in the meanwhile. And we also put the from the infrastructure perspective, we put the servers, the nodes on the multi-AG mode. That way, if in case a node crashes, the application is still available and the entire platform is still available to service the application.
Okay, so at this point, let's check with Anusha. So Anusha, where are we with the cluster creation?
The cluster is created, and you can go to the dashboard, I think.
Okay, so let me share your screen now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sanjeev, you want to walk us through this?
Yes. So as you saw initially, that Anusha has put in some values, and the AppZ platform creation started happening. As part of the CloudFormation output, we are listing the what will be the AppZ URL, AppZ dashboard URL, and also the IP of the master instance. So Anusha, why don't you click the dashboard and see whether it's up and running? And
So Sanjeev, at this point, right? So the installation is done. When we look at the diagram here, so all these pieces are up here, and this also came up. And now what we are going to do is we are going to go to the dashboard URL here to check and see if the cloud is up. Is that right?
That's correct. That's correct. And the dashboard URL, and you will see that some of the core applications are getting deployed. And the two core applications I would like to point out. When I say core applications, these applications belong to AppZ platform itself. The one set of core application is the log collector, which enables the infrastructure log as well as applications log visible from the dashboard itself. The idea here is the developers do not have to log into the machine to look into their applications log. And as you can see, some of these core applications are coming up. Our log collector that we are providing has three components. One is the MongoDB, Elastic, and the Gray log. So far, the Elastic and the MongoDB are up and running, and the Gray log is in the process of getting deployed.
Awesome. So back to so our agenda today. So we just completed this, and we are now waiting for the rest of the cluster. So we have the log collector already up in the cluster. We are now probably waiting for what other components are we going to bring up at this point.
So the after the log collector, it will be Vault, HashiCorp Vault that will get built. And in this demo, Rajit, what we did is that these two demo applications, we are deploying it so that the demo applications will be up and running. And what we will do is to go ahead and make a change in the applications and see that how that change gets deployed on the platform.
Okay, so it's a brand new cluster, just came up. It took approximately 25 minutes, and you can see that it looks like the log collector is getting built, and it's going to get deployed, and then Vault will come up, and then we're going to deploy the two applications. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So while that is going on, let's take some more questions.
Sure.
So here is another question from Pratish. Where do AppZ keep Docker images?
So we have and So AppZ comes with a complete ecosystem of services. And again, this question was also asked by someone else in my meeting that are we using the AWS registry? And answer is, of course, you can use it. AppZ has integration services that you can plug and play with any other enterprise tool set. But AppZ comes with everything available for you to use it out of the box. We have our own registry, which is running on the master node, and that is where the Docker images are kept.
Now, the next question. So for legacy applications, we support. We said that in the first slide. So when we support legacy applications, how long does it take for a legacy application to migrate into this new AppZ platform?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And what we offer, and say in this case, I see that the question is a WebSphere specific. So there are two ways we can kind of like the handle it. We have a WebSphere image, a curated, and the WebSphere image. An application can simply go on top of that and go live. That's one option. Client has also options to make some rewrite if they want to modernize and switch to Tomcat. We have images for that also. So it depends. But from the image engineering perspective, it is because we bring I think we'll be going into the power of AppZ stacks in the subsequent webinar. So I would say like it will take at the most a week to take a legacy applications and run it on the cloud platform in a resilient and a scalable way.
Okay. So next question from Nancy again. So how does it work when there are vulnerabilities?
So we have a alerting system built in our platform, and that can alert the user about the vulnerability issues in their code. We also provide out of the box the Sonar Cube, and that can scan the code and list any kind of like the potential issues with that. But the vulnerabilities are primarily scanned through our Aquasource and the white source. These are the two tools we are using to scan for the vulnerabilities.
Awesome. So it looks like in Anusha's screen, we can see that now Vault is getting deployed.
Yep.
So the image is getting built. That's what that's a column that represents the build. And then once that is done, it will basically deploy it, and we can come back to application deployment after that. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So let's look at the next question. Question is from Pradeep. Can we add manual checks in AppZ dashboard, similar to Nagio Zabbix, in order to monitor issues like SSL expiry? Yeah, I can take that question. So yes, so again, back to what Sanjeev said, right? So we have a mechanism by which you can add periodic checks, and based on the result of that, you can generate an alert that will send you an email or a Slack or an SNMP trap, so that you'll get a ticket created automatically if you want, or you can simply get a Slack or email. Let's move on to next question. Sharath is asking, how do we get the monitoring alerts, and what are the alert channels? Yeah, so we, as I said, we have email, we have Slack, and we also have SNMP traps. That means, let's say you have a corporate ticketing engine, and that ticketing engine is accepting SNMP traps. We can do that, and also we support webhooks. So if there are systems that, like for example, ServiceNow, that needs that has support for webhooks, we support that as well. We have a ton of questions. Thanks everyone for asking the questions. So now another question from Ivan. Now, stack updation and patch to AppZ. Do we need downtime when that happens? Go ahead, Sanjeev.
An answer is no. As I said that in most of the cases we have the rolling deployment or the blue-green deployment enabled. So as the stack update is happening, the applications will be live, and you will see that in the Tomcat applications there will be running applications. We will make some change in the application, and application will continue running without any downtime.
Awesome. Moving on to next question. Sridevi is asking, is there any option in AppZ to notify the if the K master is down? The answer is yes. So as I said earlier, we can add periodic checks to every component, and it basically prints something in the output. We can generate alerts based on that. And back to your earlier question, we have customers today the question about downtime when you upgrade. So we have customers today who have like live websites that are facing the public that gets updated once or twice a week, sometimes once or twice a month, where they deploy the application and upgrade them during business hours. And we have deployed it without downtime. Now let's go back to the panel. So where are we now, Anusha and Sanjeev?
The Tomcat app is building now.
Okay, so Sanjeev, you want to talk about a little bit about the Tomcat application?
That's correct. So we have two demo applications, and they are getting deployed right now. And I will show you take you to the Git repo also, and you can see that it is the developer's Git repo. All the source code, the build file, everything is there. Only thing we have added is an AppZ YAML, and it's kind of like the socket and the the switch example. That's works best in this case. And we want to, as I said earlier, we want to bring cloud as an electricity here. So let's take a look at the Tomcat Hello World. This is the developer's repo. If you are a Java developer, you must be familiar with the construct and the folders structure here. Pom.xml is the one which builds. We are using Maven here to build the applications. And only foreign file, if you see in this repo, is the AppZ YAML. That YAML acts as a socket to the cloud. And as you can see, in this case, it's the AWS cloud. It could be any cloud, because AppZ Platform will sit on top of any cloud and enable this type, the true GitOps to deploy the application. This AppZ YAML, very declarative. In this case, as you can see, we have the build process defined. And as part of the build, we are mentioning the Tomcat 9 as the image template. It is the key. And if you remember the diagram which we have, the AppGS stacks, getting merged with the GitOps, getting merged with the applications to make a final image which gets deployed on the AppZ cluster. So that role is being played by this image template called Tomcat 9. It has the operating system. It has Java 11 and Tomcat 9. It has been scanned for the vulnerabilities. And this image has already been baked in with the logging and monitoring capability. So all these capabilities comes to the developer's applications by default. And as you can see here, that we are deploying two replicas. The deployment is happening on the context alpha dev, which is the context that got kind of like the pre-created on the platform. We have also ability to keep on adding the new context. A strategy of deployment, there was a question around that. In this case, we are doing the rolling strategy, which means that applications will not go down. And between the two contexts, there will be a lag of 30 seconds before the second context goes down for deployment. And all the properties, as you can see here below, are applications properties. Some of them are in the clear text. There is a simple, I would say, the password property is there, which we have declared in the vault.
Awesome. So Sanjeev, bottom line here is, so this is a public repo.
Yep.
We put a webhook into this repo. We took a Tomcat project, very simple one, ecloud/tomcat9-hello world. We put a webhook, and that webhook is pointing to the new cluster. And any changes that are, so Anusha is showing the webhook right now. So
yep.
Webhook that we're using is the second one, right? So that webhook is basically triggering the deployment into the new cluster that we built. And Anusha, can you go back to the dashboard and show where we are in terms of the deployment?
Yeah, sure. Let me refresh.
And while this is coming up, if you are watching this video, this platform, we are not fully GA on the AWS marketplace. We are targeting to become GA in the Q1 timeframe. But if you are watching this video and want to try this platform, reach out to us. We can whitelist your AWS account to kind of like start doing the same thing what we did here. You can build the AppZ platform. The public repo that we're showing, that's also public, and we have the full documentation. You can fork the applications and bring this demo applications live on the platform that get built under your AWS account, or you can see that how you can bring your applications live on the AWS cloud using the AppZ platform.
And Sanjeev, can you now take us, as you looking at the screen right now, the Tomcat Hello World it's running. Can we take us through that row of records that or the information that we are showing on the screen, what we can see from the build, deployment, and runtime?
So Rajit, what I would like to do here, Anusha, why don't we show the applications running live first?
Yeah.
And because I want to show them through the Git logs, because the commit part is missing here, and if I show this from the commit, that will give a full user experience. So let's go to the see if the application is running live and see the site, and then I will make a change.
Yeah, sure.
So application is running live here. As you can see, and what we are going to demo now is that we will make a simple change in the application. So Anusha, let's go back to the repo and make a change. Let's make the color green.
Yeah.
I think the blue red is there's a lot of discussion about the blue red these days. I like the color green. So the change has been made, and Anusha, and as you can see that again, this is the developer environment, and the change got picked up. So now take a look at the build log, that what exactly is happening. Can you click on the top? Like as you can see, the complete artifacts, developer simply made the change, and these are and we can come here and see that what change got made, and what change got made, and like let's go back and scroll down. And if you're a Java developer, this is the thing which if you have used the form or XML to build the application, this is what it happens. Like keep on going. The entire process is documented. Why we go to this level to keep the log? It's for audit and the security purpose. Like we come from the financial, like the services technology background, and we have faced, Rajat, myself, we worked together and faced multiple auditors while we were bringing private cloud 10 years ago in a large bank. And we have kind of like baked that experience that anything happening, either, and again, there's no human involved here, but all the audit logs are kept from the build perspective. Now we'll switch to the deployment from the deployment perspective, and also we'll show you from the runtime perspective. So let's go look into the deployment log right now. As you can see the deployment log, all the manifests, if you see the D item, if you can click that, it will have the much more granulated detail about each and every step. You can see that we are keeping up to the minutest level. We are keeping all the details here. The secrets are getting pulled from the vault at runtime for deployment purpose. Now, Anusha, let's look into the third column, which is the
Yeah, sure.
monitoring, like the actual log of the application. Yeah, this screen starts kind of like the thin line where all the applications log. So developer doesn't have to create a ticket or doesn't have to log into the infrastructure to get to the log. Their logs are directly visible from the platform, from the AppZ dashboard. And this is the power that we bring to the table, like no privilege access to the platform is still developers, the auditors are able to get to what they look for all the time, either during the audit or either while developers troubleshooting the application.
And one of the things that I would like to add here is, unlike typical Kubernetes Docker log collection, we are different in the sense that we understand there'll be multiple log files. There could be system logs. Application might itself write multiple logs. So we made it so that you can collect the logs from multiple sources within a single application. So as you can see here, you can see that there are multiple files getting captured, and all of them are available here. And you can search through this, grab through this, and also you can go back and look at previous days, previous weeks logs and download them and troubleshoot them. Now, yeah, go ahead, Sanjeev. What is the next we want to show?
So Anusha, why don't you show the application deployed?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, the application is live with your favorite color green. So that's the power we bring. As we can see, the full cycle that the true GitOps model platform went live within half an hour, and 2 demo applications got deployed. Let's show a quick view of the Node application as well, Anusha.
Yeah, sure.
And after that, we will take some of the questions. So here the demo application is running same way. Let's and can we show the node the Git repo also?
Yeah, sure.
We won't be running a demo check. I just want to show you that where we list the stack. Again, it's a typical Node applications. It has the package.json, server.js file, and you can see there is one foreign file. This is the socket and the switch which enables this applications to go live on the any cloud. And in this case, the AppZ platform running on AWS. Can you show a quick AppZ YAML here?
Okay.
And as you can see, the image template for this is Node 10.12. That's the version that we are using to take the Node applications live. Rajit, at this time, I think some more questions coming. Why don't we take that?
Yes. So let's look at the next question, which is from Roshan. So how do you manage stateful and stateless application? Very good question, Roshan. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a big topic, and especially that when you are running an application which has the data, and the data needs to be persistent. So yeah, we support the and a stateless like deployment. You saw both the applications that we got deployed today was the stateless application. For the stateful applications, we have the predefined kind of the volume configurations, which sets up the volume, and not only the volume gets created, we also offer that the volume gets backed up, volume gets replicated on a secondary deployment, and kind of like provide in a master slave model, so that if the master goes down for some reason or the volume gets corrupted, you have a backup to go to take the applications live. Rajit, would like to add something to that?
Yes. So I think in the stateless side, it's pretty straightforward. You can deploy as many instances as you want. We do self-healing, all that. But I think we shine in, as Sanjeev was saying, stateful side. We all our images are ready for enterprise grade resiliency. We provide replication, resilience, and also we provide all the logs and also performance metrics out of the box. And we do auto healing and self healing and auto scaling as well for stateful sets.
And in one of the coming webinars in the coming weeks, we will show you a stateful application deployment and a stateless application, a web applications kind of like communicating with the stateful application. So the scenario would be maybe the Tomcat applications looking into an Oracle or maybe the Postgres database, a SonarQube applications interacting with a Postgres database, or a MariaDB applications interacting with WordPress application interacting with the MariaDB database. We will be having the webinar for that as well.
Awesome. So we have the next question from Abi. Can we plug in existing elk stack for log collection?
That's a great question, Abhi. And yes, so as I said earlier, that AppZ platforms have all the components which are to run application at the enterprise scale available, but we offer the integration services. So the client may have a separate elk stack. So we have the Fluentd, all the images that we provide, what you call the AppZ stacks, are enabled with the Fluentd, and they can push the logs to any other the client system if they have.
Awesome. So next one from Ansi. Does the AppZ dashboard have role-based access control?
That's a very good question. So as you can see that the two applications are running, and the two applications I can set up to go against the two different user account, and they will not be able to see the other applications and as well as the log. So from the ground up, from the applications running, we have the full RBAC that we provide out of the box.
Good one. Next question, I think it's about stateful images. Is there any feature to push application backups to cloud in AppZ? For example, S3 buckets.
That's a great question, Pradeep. And we do get asked this question that I want to migrate to the say AWS cloud, and in this case it is not application, it is the database. So what sort of services we have? So what we have done is that, and maybe that's a topic will be one of our webinars, that we can run a database, and at the same time we can pull the say backup, what we call it the database load or kind of the restore functionality. So we can pull the backup from a S3 bucket or any other endpoint and load it in the database. So that's a good topic, and we will definitely cover that in a future webinar.
All right. Now the next one is also a good one. Where is the container data stored, and is that data secure?
Rajit, why don't you take that?
Yeah. So what we do is, we use, of course, since we are in Kubernetes first platform, we use persistent volumes. So the persistent volumes are directly allocated from the underlying cloud, or we have the option to use local storage. So what we do is, we make sure that we follow all the best practices in terms of mounting it and keeping it backed up, as well as we restrict access to administrators, making sure that the container itself is secure and follows all the best practices, so that the data within that is secure. Let's move on to the next question. Now, do AppZ support production-ready, production-grade upstream Kubernetes like microcades?
Yes. So like the AppZ platform that you saw got built and is using the upstream microcade itself. We decided to go with because they are like the stable, they are always upstream, and another thing is that they have done tons of automation, which we are leveraging. And as I said earlier, that most of the cloud providers, most of the open source communities are building lots and lots of automation, and we really appreciate that. And we are taking true advantage of that to put the another layer on top of that, which applications can easily integrate with.
Next question is also a very interesting one. Thanks, Pradeep. Um, how can we, if the webhooks are not possible from private networks, how does it work?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and we get asked all the time. We have what you call is the Git poller image, and that Git poller, once you set up with your like the GitHub access token, will continuously scanning. We can set the interval and keep looking for the changes. If any change happens, it will pull and and deploy it on applications. I think we have a live client using this feature, and the same exact scenario which you mentioned. They have a private network and they don't allow the webhook.
The next question is from Anil. So what about the retention period for logs and metrics?
Yeah, this is a kind of a configuration driven. So you can have as many, and again, we are coming from the financial services background. So, and we have to retain the log for 7 years. And we have the capability. We can also ship the log to the cheaper infrastructure where it can be stored and available for when it is needed.
Good. So Sridevi has a kind of extension to that question. How long it is kept, I think you answered that. But I think the other part is how to grab 10 days of old logs or issues in the log, right? So I can take that.
Sure.
So the grep that we give, right? So as long as it is it's stored and it's within the retention period, you can grep across multiple instances, like old instances. It doesn't matter. The data is taken out or the log is taken out of the containers and it is kept in Elastic, and we use Elastic to search across multiple days. As long as it's available in Elastic, and if it's within the retention period, you can grep across all the log in one go.
That's great point. Let me add to that. So, what the services that we are providing, all the stacks that we have the log rotate functionality, and the purpose here is that the stack itself or the running application does not get overloaded with too much logs. But at the same time, we are shipping the log to Elastic, and you decide that how long you want to keep it, and you're based on your retention period, live retention period, you can grep it because it is Elastic. We have the full index available to grep it as long as you like, as far back you want to go back.
All right. So next question is from Ashik. Very good question. Thank you. So the question is, when a new feature gets added to AppZ, how do I get it? Right. So I'll take that.
Yep.
We have an completely automated and managed process. So what happens is, when you get AppZ with the cluster is built, the master is living within that, and we have a mechanism by which you can automatically upgrade if you want, like for example Windows or iOS. So it automatically gets upgraded whenever we release stuff, or you can choose when you want to upgrade. So you get an alert when if you choose to do so, you can get an alert, and then you go to our dashboard and trigger the upgrade. Sanjay, you want to add to that?
Yes, in fact, we are envisioning a future where, as you can see, that you have a Apple device or you have a Android device, and you get alert that the new version of your application is up and running. Our dashboard will indicate that the new version of a stack is available, and you accept it. It will get downloaded, and your applications will get upgraded. Its application, it will be valid for applications. It will be valid for AppZ platform as well.
All right, so we have 2 minutes left. At this point, I think we should conclude it. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for joining the session. So thanks for everyone. So let's kind of get into what we want to do in the next coming webinar. So what do we have planned for the next coming webinars, and why should people follow us and keep tuned?
So I think the coming webinars, we will be covering the stacks part of it, because each stack in itself is a application, and we would like to show that whether you are a Java developer or Python developer or Node developer or like WordPress, how we can make your work or your life more productive. So that we will be covering. We will be also covering that as we go on our journey to put the AppZ on other marketplaces. We are discussing with other cloud providers And one thing I would like to mention is that what you see getting deployed from the AWS marketplace, it is the 50% of a kind of like automation provided by the CloudFormation, but underneath like 85% of the automation is our own installer, which builds the cluster as well as builds the AppZ platform, and that installer is applicable for any cloud. So if you are watching this video and you would like to run the AppZ platform on your favorite cloud, be it DigitalOcean, be it Linode, you choose it. We guarantee that AppZ platform will be ready on that platform within an hour. And of course, we will be getting on their marketplace to enable the self-service aspect also. Rajat?
Yeah, so thanks again. So please follow us and join us, and in YouTube, subscribe us. So there'll be more webinars coming. We're also going to talk about, of course, the different images, how to use it. We are also going to conduct workshops where you can actually participate along with us. While we are deploying, you should be able to clone the repos and deploy your own application and sample applications into the cluster while we are on the webinar, which is those webinars will be in a workshop kind of format, so you'll be able to participate. And also we plan to have future webinars where we're going to talk about challenges from a developer's perspective, from the management perspective, on how automation can help. How do you do multi-cloud deployments across all the different cloud providers out there, including private cloud. Again, thank you very much for joining today. And Sanjeev, you want to add anything?
One thing I would like to say that we are on a journey. We are journey to make cloud more and more simple and accessible to everyone, and reduce the tons of wastage, kind of like the computer resource wastage is happening. And another thing is that you don't have to learn the cloud to use the cloud.
Awesome. Hey, thanks everyone for joining. So we'll again see you soon. Thank you very much.